Welcome to Decide and Do with JW. This is Decide and Do number 13, Rough Days. So I want to talk tonight about rough days, and I want to talk about really how you get through those rough days and how you don't let those rough days be something that is a stumbling block for you towards your progression, towards success, and your happiness in life, into your overall well-being. And everybody has rough days. We all have rough days. It is not something that no human goes without. So when I talk about my Decide and Do philosophy and I talk about the setting out on a path, I understand throughout that path that from point A all the way to the last point, which is my do and is what I want to do in life, there are going to be some rough days that happen along with that. It's okay. Those days suck. Today was a rough day. From the very beginning of it all the way until a few minutes ago was a rough day. And tomorrow is going to be a little bit rough just because of the rough day that we had today. It's something that we encounter a lot. It's something that every single one of us is going to go through, and every single one of us is going to have to go ahead and get past, get over it. So the way I get over my rough day, or a rough day like today, is thinking about the roughest day that I've ever had in life. So I told you I was going to tell some about myself in these videos and discuss some things that are personal to me, and it's why I've created a life philosophy of Decide and Do, and that's why I stick by that foundation of it. So around 10 years ago, roughly around 10 years ago, I had one of the roughest days I had in my entire life. It was a rough day that took me to a breaking point in life where I almost took my own. Obviously, I didn't, and a rough day like today isn't even going to get me close to doing that. So don't think that this video is something like that. It's just, this is how I get through rough days like this. So, long story short, 10 years ago, I was at that breaking point. I had multiple things that had occurred, and it had been a build-up of those incidences, both professionally and personally, so at work and at home, that had built up to this breaking point that I was at. And it really was the roughest day in my entire life, and it was rough for some time after that, but it got me to that breaking point. And I hit the lowest of the low. I think that I scraped the bottom of the barrel of where I did not believe that I could go in life, but I went there. And fortunately for me, obviously I didn't do that. I didn't take my own life. I thought about it long and hard, but it wasn't something that I, took the steps towards to end my life. Which I'm glad. Obviously, I'm glad. I'm beyond ecstatic that I didn't do that, and I learned a valuable lesson from it. I learned that not only life is precious, but we don't know truly what our life can bring us until we realize that you are important, and you're important for so many different reasons and so many different things. So I use that as a point to look back at whenever I'm having a rough day, and I realize that today's rough day, although it sucked and although it was long and although there will be some follow-on repercussions of it, it'll never be that. It'll never be the lowest of the low. I will never be the one that sinks back to that and would even have the smallest idea of doing something as what I believe that I should have done 10 years ago at that time in my life. And I use that as the point to look at because I know where I've been and I know the things that I've overcome in life to get to me to where I am now. And because I know where I've been and I know what I've overcame, it helps me with this rough day, or these rough days that sometimes we have, both personally and professionally. So whenever you're thinking about the rough days that you are having, or the rough day that you're currently having, think about the roughest day that you've ever had. Is it comparable? Maybe, maybe not. But if it is comparable, or if it's even worse, just use that. Remember that you've already been through something like that. You've already gotten past it. You've already moved forward from it. So today might suck, but guess what? tomorrow might not. And tomorrow could be the best day that you've ever had. So the best day you've ever had could follow the worst day that you have ever had. And I talk to my coworkers about this in regards to the greatness and garbage. You can be great one day and garbage the next. And it's just like that. You can have a rough day one day and a great day the next day. But I'm not going to allow the rough days to go ahead and get me down. I'm not going to allow them to keep me from where I want to go. I'm not going to allow those rough days to alter my life. I'm not going to let them navigate my path for me. And I sure in the heck am not going to allow them to make me somebody different than who I am. I use this as fuel to the fire. It's a rough day. So what? So be it. But tomorrow could be a better day. And I'm in control of that. I am in control of that. And I'm going to do everything I can to make tomorrow a better day. Not only for myself, but for everyone else that had that rough day with me. Or everyone else that might have been affected because of the rough day that we had. Whatever it may be. But I'm not going to allow it to dictate who I am and how I move forward. So although today might have been a rough day, tomorrow might not. And that is what is great about it. That is what's great about it, and that's what I'm going to go ahead and look forward to. A better day tomorrow than the day that I currently had today. So until my next video, thanks for watching. Deciding to do number 13, rough days.